This is going to be the further continuation video for the CASTER project, working with drawing files, view manipulations, as well as dimensioning of the detail parts. So this is where I left this the last time we spoke, and I've decided I'm not completely happy with it. I'm going to make some minor changes to this. I've decided that I want to have the wheel next to the assembly down here, and I want to place the bracket here above, and I just need to move this wheel here. And I would like to put these in an ascending order from 1, 3, and 5. So I'm going to be taking this bushing, dragging it down, taking the post, dragging it up. It's item 1. The shaft can stay where it is item 2. We'll move the detail view in line as best we can. And we'll drag the bushing up like this. All right, so just taking another look around, we're going to add another annotation center mark here. And I think that's all we need. Okay. Oh, and actually here. All right. Now that I've done that, I'm going to hit the save. And we're going to start detailing. So this is going to be a review of basic dimensioning for orthographic drawings. I'm going to start with the simplest part here, which I believe is the bushing. So we need 3 dimensions for this part. We need to show the outside diameter, the inside diameter, and the length. So we're going to use our general dimension tool for everything. I'm going to start with the length. I'm going to select this line, pull the dimension up. I'm going to zoom in on this and wait for it to break, right? So this is your indication of where you should be dropping your dimensions. So don't drop them super close. Don't drop them super far away. As soon as you touch that line and you're running it, wait for it to break. Right there where it becomes dotted, it's going to want to lock it there. So once you see that, left click your mouse and hit OK. All right, so outside diameter. Now remember, we want to keep these dimensions from being put between the views when possible. So we're going to want to keep these to the left. So we're going to just basically touch that. We're going to O-track that one like that. 14. Boom. Hit OK. Then we're going to find the inside. And I'm trying to do something fancy with this one, but I can't. So I'm going to drop that one generally in line with the diameter symbols, like this. Okay, so that part is done. And what we also want to do is create a label for this. So we're going to grab a text. We're going to draw a box underneath. And this is item 1. Item 5. Bushing. Like this. And we can just move that between the 2 views. All right. Next up, We're going to do easy ones first. Okay, so the wheel, this is a fairly simple one. We have to show the groove width. So we're going to start with that. So we're going to go dimension, select this line and this line, pull the dimension off, and wait till it breaks. So it breaks right here. And we're also going to add a tip on the end of this, because this is typical everywhere. There's two grooves running through this wheel. So instead of dimensioning it twice, I'm going to save myself some work and dimension it once. And typical, right, is a review of, so I don't need to repeat dimensions all over the place. So I'm just going to drag that to the right, keep it off the part. We also need to know the width of the wheel. So we're just going to grab dimension, click from here to here. I'm going to redo that one. I want to zoom in on this a little more. Dimension. We're going to pick this endpoint and this endpoint. Okay. So this is too far right here. Right? I would drop it right here where it breaks. Right? We want greater distance with the first dimension from the part, and then every second and third and fourth stack we have can be a little bit closer but the same distance. So that's acceptable and looks great the way it is. So again, you're always going to see me try to break it. So when you're doing this, I'm going to stress this. Don't just be dropping them quickly wherever you think they should go, because I'm going to hammer you on the marks. Yes, you heard correctly, hammer. Okay, what else do we have here? We've got fillets we need to show. We've got a fillet that we can show at the very bottom here. I don't want to show it up here because I don't want the leader to cross over these extension lines. So I'll show this one down here. Fillet, radius 2. So we're going to drop this one to look fairly professional. We're going to drop that one right here. That's about a good distance. That's similar to kind of what you see with the 3. Now, this is kind of crowded, so we're just going to drag this down a bit. We don't want this butted right up against this section BB note that comes with our sectional view. We also want to say that this is typical, because this radius is in more than one spot. And when it comes to these other ones here, I can really run it anywhere on this side. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to keep it close to this one instead of making somebody, hunt all the way over here to find another radius value. And I really shouldn't put it on this side because I'm going to crowd these views unnecessarily. So I'll keep it close to this one. So we're going to grab here this fillet. It would help if I, pick the dimension tool. Come off. Again, you can't track that, unfortunately. But that's typically about in line. And we need to add a tip. Right? R1 is typical in many spots here. R2 is typical to the outside surface of the wheel. So we've done this. Now we also need to run some ordinate dimensions like we've done here for the wheel. And we're going to keep these all to the outside. We do not want to run them on the inside because we have no good reason to show dimensions between views. We only do that when there's an advantage to it, and there is no advantage in this case. So we're keeping them to the left like I've done with the right side sectional view. So general dimension, we have to show the 100. Maybe I can track that one over here. Yes, I can. So that is our outside diameter. And we're going to continue on with the next one. We're going to have these all kind of do this. Like that. Then this one. And like that. So we could have two down here as well. You know, like we can run this dimension here. And this one here. Right? We can hit OK. Delete, delete, you know, what looks better. Right, we're going to want to drag this away a bit. It's a little close. Right, we could have it like this. Let's leave it like that for now. Okay. Moving on. We're going to take a look at the bracket next. So this one has a little bit of work, but it's not too bad. We're going to need to show the location of this hole for the post. So we're dimensioning from this endpoint to this center line. It breaks right here. That's 22. Right click OK. Dimension from here to here, 44. So we have the overall width. We also need to know so this breaks right here. The location of that hole is now fully noted and dimensioned. And we also have from here to here. That is a bit close. So we want to kind of copy what we have up here, right? Like we want to look at that distance and we kind of want to duplicate it right there. Okay, there's the break point. We also need to identify the size of this hole here. So we're dimensioning like this. We can come up here. And it is 15. All right. We also have to do the location from the top of the bracket to the center of the circle hole. So from here to the center line. Right about there. I'm going to redo that one. We're going to use the 17 here to track this dimension. Okay. We also need to list the radius of the bracket and the hole where the shaft passes through. So we can do this one here. That is 8. And we also have, try not to pick these points right here. It won't give you an ordinate dimension. And we also have the radius, like this. Okay, moving on. We need to know the thickness of the bracket. Now this, you're going to notice this is supposed to be 2.38, but it doesn't list it as such. It's because later we'll have to go around and make some decimal point edits here. Right click OK. We'll drag that to there. And then we have to do the inside to the inside. So this is 30. This kind of interferes with our sectional view, unfortunately. Trying to manipulate that down a bit. Okay, so yeah, we can pull this arrow leader down. This is going to kind of keep that from interfering with this dimension leader here. We also have to show the radius. I just want to bring that out a bit. Tip. Typical. All right. And we also have to do the keyway here. So I'm going to pull these off to the right as to not crowd between the breakout, this sectional view, and this right side view. So we're going to click from here to the center line. It's going to give us 6. And the key. Now the key should not be at a value of 3. But again, we're going to have to go around and we're going to have to fix this in a little bit. I'm going to redo that one. Okay. Right there. Okay. So now comes the fun part, which is the post and the shaft. And the shaft is, the reason we did this detail view is to allow ease in dimensioning this part right here, because there's so much going on and it's so small. It's nice to be able to create a detail view so you can kind of take some of the heat off this right side view and kind of put some of those details here and be able to scale it up a bit larger so it's easier to see. So this is something that we're going to cover in another future assembly we're going to do as well. That's going to look at the advanced modeling features of Autodesk Inventor. So none of the features in the caster are, I would consider, advanced modeling technique, but some of them do have their tricky spots. All right, so let's take a look at the post first, because that one's going to be less threatening. All right, so we have to show the inside diameter here. Now, I can't show this, I can't dimension the hidden line because that's not allowed. We never dimensioned the hidden detail lines. So I'm going to have to force this dimension to go between the two views, because it's more professional to do that than to drag the extension line through most of the post to drop the dimension on the right. So what we're going to do is select this line and this line. Let it break. And we're going to put the cursor to the left side, and we're going to add a diameter value and hit OK. Now, because we want to actually specify that this is a round cylindrical object, right? Like much what you get when you run normal ordinate dimensions, you get the diameter symbol. Anything that is round in full diameter must have that symbol. So that's why we're manually editing it here. And we're going to right click, hit OK. And we can manipulate that arrow, that leader like this, right? So this looks a little better, just to kind of bend it like that. And we'll keep it broke out of the view the way it needs to be, which we've talked about already. And we're going to start dimensioning all the linear features next. So the overall length of this is 43. So we're going to leave that dimension till a little later. We're going to start with the largest one, which is right here, this 3. We're going to let it break right here. Next dimension should be, from here to here, should be 21. So I'm going to click this endpoint and this endpoint and snap the 21 in the line. Now, it didn't quite work. But what I need to do is move this 3 out of the way. And this is kind of the pain that we go through when we're dimensioning these small parts, right? It can be kind of a bit of a headache manipulating things. But so this looks okay, right? This signals that from here to here is 3, from here to here is 21. We also have to do the 4 here. And I wonder, see, it won't let me tuck that dimension in there, unfortunately, which is too bad. So we're gonna have to get a little more creative with our dimensioning. In AutoCAD, we can kind of get away with that. So we're gonna have to run the next dimension here to here. Like this. And we're also going to have to show our overall length, which should be 43. So from here to here. And then what's no good about this is that this 3 basically wants to doesn't want to sit there. So we can do this, right? So we'll have to raise a couple of these up a stack like that, and then we'll have the overall here, right? We can also tuck the 9 in as well. But you're going to notice, I mean, I'm taking my time to do this because I want to do this correctly, right? Anything that is rushed is not worthwhile. So the only dimension that we're not going to show here is the peen length, right? We're not going to include that one because we always leave one out of a chain. And this is the most unimportant diameter and length in the post. So we're going to ignore that linear dimension. So all we have left to do now is a couple of ordinate dimensions on the left. We've already identified this diameter here. So we need to do this one and this one. So again, dimension, select, let's track it. That's going to be 18. And then we're also going to run this one here, which is 14. And we do have one dimension left. We're gonna run a quick leader, which is to identify this chamfer right here. So what we can do is pick leader text, come up in here, draw a line, make sure it's very horizontal. And this is going to be 45. We're going to add the degrees symbol here in the symbol part, and we're going to go times 1. Okay. And hit escape. All right. So this is about in line with the 4, which is fine. And again, we got to have a couple of dimensions between the views. We can't avoid it. What we can do is if we want, we can, add a little bit more space between the two views because we got a lot of room, but I wouldn't keep them too far apart. So that takes care of that one. So we just have one left, which is the shaft. Oh my gosh, okay. Dimension. So we're going to do the keyway, this rib. Bring that up to 2. That's where it breaks. We've got the 16. Keep it out there like that in line with the 2. And we also have the 7.5 here, although it reads it as 8. But again, we're going to have to do some edits to this, which I've talked about already. And then we have the shaft. All right, so we've got the head of the shaft. Let's do a track like this. We also have to identify the rib. So we're going to do this with a quick leader text, like I've just shown you. So we're going to click from here. It doesn't want to track, but I can get it pretty close. Draw that line. Left click, right click, left click, continue. And this is going to be 2 by 45 degrees. I just want to fix that line a bit and make sure it's straight. Okay. Now we just need to identify the complete length here to here. Have it break right there. And we also need to identify the chamfer on the front of the shaft as well. So we might as well keep these in line with each other. Although I really don't want to break over this circular detail selection. So I think for this one, we're going to go quick leader here. I'll do this one on the bottom, just so it's a little cleaner. This one is 1.5 times 45 and add the degree symbol. Hit OK. And then lastly, we have our detail view. So this is part of the reason we're doing a detail view, is because this is just, it just takes too much room up on the regular 1-to-1 scale. So again, this should read 0.73. We'll talk about that later. We have the retaining ring groove diameter. Here. Remember, cursor to the left. Diameter symbol. Left click OK, and we can just bring that like this. And we also have to show the dimension from here to here, right, which is going to be 3. Okay. So there's still a little bit more to do, but I'm going to end the video here for time. So we're pretty much at the finish line. We just have to, fine tune and finesse a few things, but that should be the rest of your detailing for the CASTER project. So take today, start running these dimensions. Make sure you're breaking them at the appropriate distance, like I've been demonstrating, and then we'll take it from there. So give it a try, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.